You're watching Fiscal TV.
Good afternoon and welcome to Fiscal TV. I'm Jim Caselli. Thanks for joining us as always. On today's show, we have a special sneak peek at something we're sure you're going to find beneficial. Mark Melnico will be here with Mark's Minutes, and we'll introduce a new Fiscal TV segment we're calling Table Talk. Let's start with that sneak peek I was telling you about. A few days ago, I sat down with Fiscal's Mickey Moody and we talked a little bit about the new Fiscal Learning Center. Let's take a look at that now. Welcome, Mickey, to Fiscal TV. It's great to have you here. How about introducing yourself to our viewers?
Hi, Jim. I'm Mickey Moody, and I'm the Deputy Director of Fiscal's Business Operation and Solutions Division. I'm relatively new to Fiscal, however, I am not new to the Fiscal system. Before joining the department, I served as FTB's onboarding project manager, department liaison, and a subject matter expert. I have worked with the Fiscal team for the last several years to ensure FTB's onboarding was successful. Since joining Fiscal, I have the opportunity to work on projects to improve department's experience with the system, including the one we're about to discuss.
So I know that something new and exciting will be launching next year. Can you tell our users a little bit about it?
I'd be happy to. For the past year, the Department of Fiscal has been working hard reimagining the learning experience of our end users. And so we're so excited to announce that we will be launching the Fiscal Learning Center early next year. The Fiscal Learning Center is a one-stop learning experience to help end users master the skills needed to become confident and successful Fiscal users.
So tell us, what makes the Fiscal Learning Center different than what users have experienced in the past?
Well, it's the one-stop shop aspect that was very important to us. Today, the learning materials are in different places and it's difficult to understand all the resources available. We have job aids in ServiceNow, web-based training and instructor-led training signups in the University of Fiscal, and we even have videos on YouTube. The Fiscal Learning Center will bring everything and all of those learning materials into one place, making it easier for users to understand just how much content is available to help them.
Are there any other aspects of the Learning Center that will be different or that you're excited about?
Absolutely. So honestly, I'm excited about all of it. We just wrapped up a pilot with 13 departments, and we generally receive positive feedback. Besides being a one-stop shop, one of the things I'm most excited about, as we're most on the pilot, is the playlist option. Not only will users have the ability to search for and filter all Fiscal training content in various ways, but they can create their own playlist. So if a department has a unique process, they can pull together different learning materials in any particular order into a playlist, and then they can share that playlist with others in their department. We've also changed the way content is organized, so we are focused more on business processes, and we're making content more bite-sized and targeted so that you can find what you're looking for without having to step through a bunch of content that isn't relevant. All in all, we feel it's a big improvement over what we have today, and we're very excited for everyone to see it next year.
That sounds great. I'm sure our viewers will enjoy the fact that they can share a playlist and obviously make it easier to help someone if you already have a playlist started up and you can share that. That's great. And so will the Learning Center be replacing the University of Fiscal?
Yes, it is. Once we launch the Fiscal Learning Center, users will no longer have access to the University of Fiscal. As part of the Fiscal Learning Center, we have an entirely new learning management system, which is the underlying technology. It's very powerful, looks much more modern, and is a lot more intuitive. You won't miss the University of Fiscal, though we will have it around just in case it's needed.
That's good to know. At University of Fiscal will be around for a little while longer. Well, I'm sure our viewers are excited about this. It sounds like a lot of great information and great opportunities to transact in the system, learn more about it with ease. So when do we get to learn a little bit more about this?
We're planning to launch the Fiscal Learning Center to all departments in January. You'll start hearing a lot more about it in the first week after the holidays. We've planned for quite a few communications, so I'm sure you won't miss it.
That's great. Everybody out there, remember, mid-January, watch for notices regarding this. And Mickey, thanks very much for being here today and sharing all that knowledge with us. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So remember, watch for communications about the new Fiscal Learning Center coming your way in January. Mark Melnico is with us as always with Mark's Minutes, and it's always a pleasure to have him here with us. Mark, what do you have for us today?
Thanks, Jim, and hi, everyone. As you know, we've been running a FisFacts feature in our Focus newsletter every month, where topics of interest come to us from the Fiscal Service Center. And today we want to answer a couple of different procurement queries that surfaced last month.
Okay, so we have some questions, and here's the first one. What if we are not using the requisition module? Are we using either an upload or entering directly into a purchase order?
Yeah, creating requisitions in Fiscal is optional, except when departments are purchasing standard products from CalPIA. As of September 15th, departments transacting in the Fiscal system are required to purchase CalPIA standard products using the Fiscal requisition process and the CalPIA online store catalog available in the Fiscal requisition module. If your department is not currently using the requisition module, please refer to the recently posted Fiscal job aid, Fiscal 449, generated Fiscal purchase requisition for CalPIA. And that's available in service now. And you need to request the roles necessary to complete the CalPIA punch-out process in the Fiscal system.
Okay, here's our next question. How do we request a feature added to purchase order for subscription and license renewal email alerts?
Okay, this is pretty simple. The functionality to set up renewal notifications and emails is available in the procurement contract module. If renewal notifications are needed, the recommendation is to just create a procurement contract and copy from that contract when creating your purchase orders.
Okay, and I know you always have something a little extra for us. What do you have today?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about how we have improved how we handle regression testing. This will give users a look at one of our really important internal processes here at Fiscal. Whenever enhancements are added or other changes are made to the PeopleSoft system, we run tests to make sure that core functionality has been preserved. A small team in our business operation and solutions division works hard to make sure things keep humming smoothly. And they do this through regression testing, which they are now automating with what they call a health check suite across an increasing number of modules. This effort began in March 2019 when the team started setting up the initial scripts. They have been adding modules ever since. The team creates new scripts and updates the existing script inventory for new milestones, enhancements, or other functionality migrating to PeopleSoft. This happens whenever a change request is put into an environment. The idea is to test system functions, especially those deemed critical. And if a test fails, the automation team does research, sometimes calling in subject matter experts to solve the issue. This is a perpetual process at Fiscal because we have a dynamic system that's under constant change. The test suite has been running for several months and has just finished phase 1, which completes the creation of high priority test scripts. During phase 2, the team plans to meet with SMEs again to make sure the scenarios remain valid and to add new ones. So Jim, when you think about it, Fiscal really is an amazingly complex system. It's got a huge array of moving parts, that combine to keep it all running. And our hats are always off to our teams that make it work. So that's all I have for today, Jim.
Mark, thanks as always. That's a lot of great information. And as you say, with the array of moving parts and with all the information, our users obviously need to keep up with a lot of stuff. And that's why we're also happy about the new Learning Center. Okay, now it's time to introduce a new segment to Fiscal TV called Table Talk. Like all segments on Fiscal TV, Table Talk is designed to bring you useful and informative information that will help you navigate your way through the Fiscal system. Today's Table Talk is hosted by Stacy Meza. Stacy is the section chief for the Client Relations Workforce Development Center, BOSD, and she recently sat down with a few relations coordinators and some colleagues from the FSC to discuss tickets. Let's listen into that now.
Fiscal TV presents Table Talk with Stacy Meza.
Hi, everybody. We're here today to talk about tickets. So we're not talking about speeding tickets, Laura. We're not talking about parking tickets, Chinaza. We're talking about Fiscal tickets. So tickets are an essential tool we use here at Fiscal, right? In an effort to provide the highest level of customer service to our customers. But we also understand that there needs to be some transparency, and a huge part of that is understanding the ticket process. So we wanted to provide that information to all of our customers so you guys all have a better understanding of the process. So to help do this, I've invited a couple of my friends, a couple from the Fiscal Service Center and a couple from our Client Relations Services, our relation coordinators. So Chinaza, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us what part you play in the ticketing process at FSC.
Awesome. Thank you, Stacy. Hello, everybody. My name is Chinaza. I work with David in Fiscal L1 support. So I've been working at Fiscal for about a year now. I celebrated my 1-year anniversary September 3rd, 2020. And what I do in terms of the ticketing process is I help triage the tickets. I assist in login support. And we're basically, David and I are the first line of contact in regards to when you call into the Fiscal Service Center or when you send us an email, as well as I help support in terms of the purchasing module, resolving simple tickets.
Great, thanks, Chinaza. What about you, David? Can you introduce yourself and how long you've worked at Fiscal and where you are in the ticketing process?
Yes, thank you, Stacy. So like Shinaza said, I'm also with the FSC L1 support, level 1 creation of tickets, triaging of tickets, and working on and resolving tickets. I have been with Fiscal now a little over 3 years. Started out initially as a student assistant, but I've been full-time for a little over 2 years. So that's a little bit about myself and what I do with tickets in Fiscal.
So I got to know, both of you guys. So now that we are working remote, has the ticket process changed at all? Like, how are you guys supporting the tickets that coming in? Because you used to sit in the service center, and now you guys are, working from home. So has there been any impact whatsoever to the customer?
No, there's no impact to the customer. So when we initially started working from home, we didn't have the Amazon Connect system that we have now. So basically with integration of Amazon Connect, it's basically like we're working in the service center, right? So we intake the calls, we process the tickets, and we send them to the appropriate modules. So it's basically like we are at the service desk, but we're just in the comfort of our own homes.
And of course, that's a plug for Amazon too, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and next we have Laura Hill. She's one of our relations coordinators, and I have the pleasure of working with her as well every day. So Laura, tell me a little bit about yourself and how long you've been at Fiscal and where you are in the ticketing process. And also, what are some of the departments that you support? Because a lot of the times people don't see your face, they just see your voice or hear your voice.
Thank you, Stacy. Like I said, Laura Hill, and I have been with Fiscal for a little over a year. And in the ticket process, I'm here to assist assigned departments to me in ticket updates, escalations, or any concerns that they have if a ticket is stalled. Some of the departments I support are Department of Social Services, Department of Healthcare Services. Let's see, what are some of the other ones? Department of Managed Healthcare. So a lot of the HHS departments.
Yeah, I bet they keep you busy.
They do.
Yeah, definitely. And last but certainly not least, Maggie Carmona. She as well is a relations coordinator. Welcome, Maggie. Want to hear a little bit about you, like, how long have you been at Fiscal? What's your role in the ticketing process? And then what are some of the departments that you support?
Yep, so thank you. And I've been with Fiscal since February. And I am very much like Laura. I help departments when they need help with escalations, just ticket updates, any kind of questions that they might have with the ticket. If it's kind of, additional questions that might come up after the fact, I definitely help with them. Some of the departments that I help are Department of State Hospitals, Department of Developmental Services, Parks, Office of Traffic Safety. So those are just a few of the departments that I assist. I work with Laura as well with a lot of the HHS departments.
Yes, I know you guys have lots of departments that you work with, but those are the big ones that you guys work with probably on a daily, if not weekly basis. So I wanted to do this table talk because I wanted to get the players together. So we know that our team, the Fiscal Service Center and relations coordinators, we're on the front line. And so I hear all the time from other departments just calling and asking about tickets. And I thought, let's get everybody together and just talk about it. And I'd love to hear from Laura and Maggie, like, what are you hearing from departments when it comes to the ticketing process? And then also Chinaza and David, if you could just educate us on the back end, because you guys are on the front line as well, because you guys are the ones that are getting the phone calls. And so I thought between the five of us, if we can just talk about what we see that's happening regarding to the ticket process and take it as an educational segment to everybody, that maybe it'll make the ticketing process a little more not so scary, not so frustrating. So with that, I want to know, inquiring minds want to know, how are tickets created? And I really am curious, are they created any differently now that we're remote versus when we were in the office? Chinaza, can you enlighten us on that?
Yeah, no problem. So tickets are created in one of three ways. So a customer can call into the Fiscal Service Center and we document the information that they provide and we create a ticket within the self-service portal. The second way is end users can email in to the Fiscal Service Center and we basically just copy that email, place it in self-service and create a ticket that way. The third way is through the end user can actually create their own ticket to the self-service portal. And we have a team of people that actually look at the self-service portal on a regular basis. So they watch the queue and they're able to easily assign tickets to the various modules.
So is there like the quickest way? Like if I'm an end user and I just need something done as soon as possible, of those three ways to create a ticket, is one quicker than the other?
Definitely. So the last recommendation, creating the ticket through a self-service portal is the fastest way because the user puts in all their information. So we're not having to, so us at the Fiscal Service Center, we're not having to pull emails or record what's written in terms of the conversation we have with the end users. The information is already there and it just needs to be routed to the appropriate module. So that's what I would recommend for all end users to do.
Okay, well that's good to know. I mean, so my understanding is they go through do the portal and that's the quickest way, but they still get the same level of customer service, whatever way they do it. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Good to know. Good to know. Maggie, Laura, do you guys ever hear anything from departments? Do they have a lot of questions about how to create tickets, or is that pretty much they all know how to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of my departments naturally send emails. That's how they've been doing it. So when they're setting it up, Chinaza, in the self-service, what kinds of things are available to them when they're looking at the portal?
Definitely. So essentially, when you send an email, we use that same information in the email and use that to create the ticket. So instead of sending the email, they can just put in the information that they would put in the email in the self-service portal. So you want to include your BU, you want to include who the caller is that's reporting the issue, you want to include a description of the issue itself, and if there's any pertinent details that will give us a clue on where to send a ticket to, that's something that's definitely helpful so that the ticket could be routed appropriately to the appropriate module, and that will accelerate the processing time.
That's good to know. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that? If the service portal makes it quicker than the others?
That's a great information. I did have a question on resetting user passwords. I know that's a item that comes up a lot, and I see a lot of tickets for it, and have departments ask about resetting passwords. Is it better to call in to get those passwords reset versus trying to have a ticket opened up for that via either an email or the service portal?
So in regards to the tickets, so when you are doing a password reset, I think it's first of all important for departments or end users to check to see if their account is disabled, first of all, because we can't at the L1 support level, we can't reset passwords if the account is disabled. So what I would recommend is for end users to check with their departmental authorities or designees to ensure that the account is enabled first. And then if it is enabled, then they can actually do it themselves, reset the password themselves. So if they go through the forgot my password link on the password field, it'll send them a code and they can use that code to reset their password. So that's something that we're definitely trying to promote within the Fiscal Service Center, is for end users to be self-sufficient. So we definitely recommend that they go through the forgot my password if they need to reset their password. But if all of that fails, then they're more than welcome to call, us at the Fiscal Service Center, and we'll be happy to help them out.
Thanks, Chinaza, for that answer. I've used that reset through the I forgot my password, and it does work, and it's very quick.
So I had a question. Say that they've submitted a case through an email already, but now they want to use the self-service portal. Are those previous cases that they've emailed or called in available to them, or how are they able to access those in the self-service portal?
Sure. So I can take this question. As far as any previous tickets, the self-service portal, any previous tickets that user has submitted or has been a part of. So if they've put themselves on the contact list for a case because maybe a different user reported it, but they were also involved, they can see all previous tickets in the portal, pick it up by ticket number if they have that record. And so that's one way. And so the self-service portal has access to all of their tickets that are current and or resolved or closed.
That's a good question.
And when they're looking in that ticket, what type of information is available to them? Like what that would be useful for them as they're waiting for resolution?
Sure. So they'll see quite a lot of information. They'll see, for example, the analyst working on the ticket and any notes that the analyst puts in. For example, status updates, like the analyst might say they're through QA1 or FT1 to see if they can duplicate the issue. They'll essentially be able to see everything that the analyst writes down they're doing in the ticket. So that's a really good way to see the status of your ticket and like the last time it was worked upon and stuff like that.
Hey, David or Chinaza, do you guys, let's do a plug for the FSC. What's their phone number?
Yes, so the phone number is 855-347-2250, and they can call that anytime, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30.
And will they get a live person?
Yes, during those times they will get a live person.
Is there ever a time where they don't get a live person and like it goes to a voicemail?
So occasionally, yes, if the whole team is in a meeting or a department-wide meeting, we will put it on where they can just go to voicemail, but usually those voicemails are returned within an hour is, I think, the longest it would wait.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Anybody else? And you have any questions before we move on to some other questions?
Yeah, I did. So if they decide they don't want to call in and they don't want to email, how do they access their self-service portal?
Sure. So accessing the self-service portal is actually very easy. One of the best ways to do it is logging into PeopleSoft, and then you'll see multiple tiles. One of them will say Classic Home. That's what most people click on. But you'll also see there's a tile that says ServiceNow. So if you just click on that, that'll take you directly to ServiceNow, and you'll already be logged in because it is a single sign-on. Or if you just go to the ServiceNow link on the FSC page, you will just log in with the same credentials you use for PeopleSoft.
Well, I think this has been a really good conversation, a really good discussion. I think it's been much needed. Like I said, I hear from departments all the time about the ticketing process, and I know that FSC, you guys are like one of the hardest working teams out there because you always are on the phones, you're always responding to emails. Sometimes you're dealing with really agitated end users that are just frustrated, and you guys have a tough job, but you guys are good at it, and we appreciate you very much for everything that you do, and your entire FSC team is amazing. Laura, Maggie, is there anything you guys want to add or bring up in regards to your experiences from departments or anything like that?
No, I just want to say thank you to the FSC team. I have always had great experiences when it comes to this is a super urgent matter. We need to take care of this right away. They've always jumped in, worked together to make sure that the end user is knows where they're at in the process, which I think is super helpful. Like, hey, we have it, we're working on it, following up, reaching out, saying, hey, can we do a call real quick? We have a couple questions. I'm very open about the process overall. And so thank you.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Maggie? Anything?
No? I would second that. I mean, the whole FSC team, all the SMEs, they're always helpful when we're reaching out, asking for more information and just trying to get questions answered. So I appreciate everything they do every day.
Well, and that's what I love, quite frankly, about Fiscal is that, we're a new system, and well, we're not that new. We've been in it, for like 8 years now. We've been onboarding. I think we've been even around longer than that, in the infancy stages, but we are constantly evolving, and I think it's really awesome when we get a phone call and a department has maybe a unique challenge that they're experiencing. And I love that we get everybody, all the parties, all the teams involved. And, this is no exaggeration. We literally lock ourselves in a room and try to problem solve and come up with a solution for that department. And, that's the synergy that I really love about Fiscal. So thank you, Chinaza, David, Laura, Maggie, for joining me today on the Table Talk. I hope end users, I hope you guys have received some helpful information, some more insight, on how to open your tickets and facilitate your tickets. And please always reach out to your relation coordinators. They're there to help you and support you. And we're only as successful as you guys are as you transact in the system. So on behalf of Fiscal and Fiscal TV, happy holidays and happy New Year.
Thanks very much. That was great. If you'd like to see more of Stacy's conversation, you can log on to our YouTube channel, and that'll be posted up there shortly. And as always, we'd like you to subscribe. That way you'll get information when new content is posted. And that's our show for today. So once again, I'd like to thank Mickey Moody, Mark Melnico, Stacy Meza, and our Table Talk panel for being with us. And as always, the entire Fiscal TV crew would like to thank you for tuning in. We'd also like to wish you a safe and healthy holiday season and a happy new year. I'm Jim Caselli. We'll see you next year on Fiscal TV.